Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, another wondrous Propagandacast with me, host Imperial Dane. Straight after the Turning Point update is out, we will be having a 2 vs 2 right here on Pripyat. So that should be interesting in its own right. Of course, we'll be seeing some new doctrines, and of course, I mean, the latest patch has really made some huge changes in veterancy, in some unit usage, and what not. Plus, of course, we've got a bunch of new commanders, free and paid for, so a role should be exciting. In the left corner, we shall be watching Blitz, who's already gone for a doctrine. He's gone for the new Luftwaffe supply or support doctrine. I can't remember the specifics. Still need to play a bit with it, but still, there's a bit there. For his teammate Moon Hoplite, we're seeing German mechanized Blitzkrieg and Luftwaffe supply together, same make. The 5th Panzer Division going up against Tipper 136. And so it's Shock Rifle, Cart Rifle, and Magikoddball, who's gone for the new defensive doctrine here for the Soviets. Together they make the 20th Guards Rifle Division. And immediately we also seen here the new THK heavy machine gun out, and popping back here to Blitz, but the Soviet heavy machine gun, nicknamed Dushka, or Sweetie. Fancy that. I suppose you'd rather fancy it, and if you're not on the receiving end of this heavy machine gun, pretty much using the exact caliber bullets as the 50 caliber. So little fun fact there, and just as painful to be shot with. 2 Grenadiers so far for Blitz here. Pioneers engaging combat engineers, quickly launching up behind some sandbags. And of course, veterancy again has received some overhaul. We can see here, for example, that with engineers, for example, they've become much better at repairing, amongst other things, as the veterancy up. Pioneers found versus conscripts down here. That is less looking good. The Grenadiers really should be at the front now, while the Pioneers ought to be taking the point here. Slight, I'd say, mix-up here from Moon Hoplite, and his Pioneers end up paying the price in blood. DHSK 38 moving up towards the center. Rolling ahead the heavy machine gun. Grenadiers moving up. Pioneers desperately trying to hold up against the Soviet attackers, but obviously outnumbered in a rather severe manner. Morgan is following up, looks like a northern prong here. So far, both German players seem to be ignoring the centre for a bit, and there we go. Oh, trees end up blocking the line of sight here for the 50 caliber machine gun. For the Dushka. Not so grand there. Grenadiers move on, perhaps sensing there is something less than fun awaiting them. Grenadiers counter and break from the south. Conscripts playing about here also seem to have taken quite a toll on the Grenadiers. Bit of infantry fighting here. Dushka moves up. Heavy machine gun also arriving here for Blitz. Get the fuck out of here now! But this overall should be effective against infantry and light vehicles, simply again due to the fact he's firing some very, very big bullets. Grenadiers here, pulling back, but there we go, coming under fire, and there we go, immediately dropping one. Poor sod. He stood no chance against the Dushka. Grenadiers versus conscripts. Grenadiers up here also pulling a bit away. Need to be careful, Vorsicht. Molotov here against the Grenadiers, catching them up, and looks like they will be forced to retreat. Rückzug, Blitz, Rückzug. Another Molotov up there. Down to one man, come on, Blitz, careful. He might end up losing them. In particular, since the Dushka, and there we go. Cut them down on the retreat. That was less well handled, a bit too slow there to retreat, and I suppose he wasn't quite expecting the Dushka to be covering the retreat path like that. Again, very, very lethal machine gun. I certainly imagine the Soviet defensive doctrine will be a bit popular. And these need to pull back. Rückzug, get out of there, Heinz. Further fighting continuing in the south. Storming up the conscripts there, wunderbar. Pulling back over here towards the fuel point. And there we go, calling in some airdrop medical supplies for shield your troops and also boost fighting power, which rather makes me question if it's not just something else besides medicine those things are containing, like something called Pervitin, which was a methamphetamine the Germans handed out to their troops to make them fight harder. I mean, I'm just suspecting, you know. No serious proof, but I'm certainly having a bit of a hard time imagining anything other medical that might provide that fighting power. Remember, kids, winners don't do drugs unless they're fighting wars, in which case, totally on drugs. But there you go, it boosts their fighting power quite a bit, and for example, it stacks as well, but it only lasts about half a minute, so I mean, it does mean you have to sort of be timing it properly. But again, all of a sudden these Grenadiers were suddenly fighting a lot harder again, you know. Medical supplies, yes, yes. Totally legit medical supplies. Next, combat docks. Anyways, enough about that. Popping over here to Moon Hoplite, who has gone for the new mechanized doctrine with the mechanized Grenadier group. Not entirely sure if it's worth it. Of course, it will require some testing. So far, my initial forays into it have met with less success, but you know, still more work is required, more testing. Otherwise, provides the mechanized Grenadier group. New unit, by the way, also free. We'll be seeing smoke bombs, spotting scopes, command tanks, and the lighter Feldhaubitze. So it does have a bit of this and that. Conscripts here going down a bit. 3 Grenadiers, 1 HMG for the Germans, covering down the southern spot. And a 45mm anti-tank arriving here for Magikoddball.
We have our reinforcements. Our industry grows to support us.
And there we go. Grenadiers need to get the devil out of there. We go again. The Dushka lets loose, immediately suppressing. Grenadiers just need to get the devil out. Looks like they tried one rifle grenade, but it was too late. They're already pinned. Rifle grenade goes off, killing half the squad. Veterancy too. And of course, also a thing to note, troops again, they do gain more veterancy when they're fighting veteran units. So there's also something then again, I suspect that will lead to faster veterancy gain as the battle progresses, but still little things to keep in mind. Fuel cache going up here, fuel cache there. I think, you know, particularly since it's a bit odd that Blitz is doing it, or, I mean, he's gone Luftwaffe, so I'd imagine he'd be going for more like, you know, munitions caches track to work towards his own doctrine that way, since a lot of them are munitions requiring.
We're under Soviet attack!
But there we go, we actually see the mechanized Grenadier group arriving. A 251 half-track with a Grenadier squad with a light machine gun in it. Oh man, the squad has a light machine gun. And rushing ahead there, Grenadiers fighting heroically, half-track moves up. And there we go, actually popping down medical supplies for his teammates' troops. Well done there. Again, medical. I'll try not to make too much of it. Not comment about it, but still. Grenadiers here though, fighting heroically. Guards infantry arriving here for Chipper. Or Chiper. I'll just call him Chipper, that sounds a bit more, you know, Chipper. Grenadiers can vettering up reasonably quickly. Grenadier group moving up. Well, the half-tank moving up with the Grenadiers fighting away there. Gunning down a few conscripts. With impunity, anti-tank rifles. Shooting away, but the 250 is a bit impervious to that, or at least lightly. Reasonably well armoured and all that. And some pioneers here might consider upgrading a flamethrower upgrade. I mean, he's got a ton of munitions, but so far he's not utilising. He definitely should consider upgrading his Grenadiers with machine guns and whatnot. Also mines. Right here, great mining spot. So definitely something that Moon Hoplite should strongly consider. Strongly.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
250 moving up, but rather an awful lot of Soviet infantry hanging about. And of course, there's also the 45mm gun. Not that effective, of course, in the anti-tank gun by 1944-45, but the Russians still utilize there. Of course, they would usually try and flank a Soviet tank with it or hit it from the rear. In which case, it could still be reasonably effective. So that's a little something to keep in mind.
To steal our sector.
Nice rifle grenade there. Oh, absolutely nasty hit there. Also, veterancy, while it does mention just weapon accuracy, it also increases the range of abilities like rifle grenades and Panther files as they veteran up. So also something to keep in mind there. Looks like the Grenadiers inside having a bit of fun shooting the wounded. That is not right, Heinz. Let's bring ahead there, so still needs to be careful. Vorsicht. There we go, lots of light machine gun fire. Und Granatenwerferfeuer. And the mortar arriving, also part of the defensive doctrine. Grenadiers though need to get the devil out of there. Oh, and they burned out the retreat. What rotten luck there. Anti-tank grenade connects with the scout car. Needs to get out there. Grenadiers doing what they can from inside. Quickly popping out. Scout car just needs to keep moving. They could, for example, also been standing inside and kept firing. Oh well. Not sure why it's moving ahead. Grenadiers tearing into it. More Grenadiers moving up. Again, no. Veteran troops give more experience to the troops finding them. Panzer Grenadiers charging in. Sturmgewehrs und now the Panzerschrecks. Panzerkampfwagen 4 arriving here for Hoplite, popping over to Chipper. 3 conscripts, 1, and he's gone for guard rifle combined arms. He's sticking to the old stuff. He's sticking to the classics. Panzer 4 supported by Grenadiers. Good, good, but still get some light machine guns up for the Hoplite. I have no idea where all your ammunition is going. Alternating down here, supply drops. And unlike the initial supply drops from Company of Heroes, they have to be dropped in munitions or resource territories like this or this. Also, it lasts a minute, so it can actually be harassed. For example, something like partisans could quickly swoop in, for example, in this case, and do some stuff, but none of them has partisan doctrine, so again. But still, something to also keep in mind about this doctrine, it can actually be, you know, harassed and somehow dealt with. And there we go, another supply drop. The Luftwaffe seems to be rather serially on the case today. And certainly the Luftwaffe had a lot of experience in providing supplies, of course, airborne, and not just to units beleaguered like those in Stalingrad, but also, for example, just to units who had advanced too far. In that case, the Luftwaffe would also be sometimes set on the case to supply them, because the logistics couldn't keep up with them, or in cases when attack was mounted, but otherwise, for example, heavy mud actually in short trucks and such couldn't get forward, in which case supply drops would also be provided via air. It's a little fun fact there. Nice Gebäudeladen. Oh, didn't do much though. Tragically so. Wounded a lot, but didn't kill a lot. Panther 4 needs to be careful. Mortar rounds going down. SU-76 up here for Chipper, so he's obviously going for the mechanized armor Campania. Just keeps dropping in the munitions. None of these here just need to get the hell out of there, Hoplite. On the Panzerkampfwagen 3 also is going when they're being engaged by the T-34 from Magikoddball. Panther 4 already heavily damaged. More armor arriving here for Blitz, this time a Flak Panzer. And there we go, Panther 4 out of control, but a parting shot knocks out the T-34. SU-76 gets the kill and a bit of experience, and quickly follows up with a barrage. Oh no, the sniper! Oh no, he's been caught on the other side of the wall. Can happen. And they've got an incendiary bombing run, also new ability, demo charge up there on the bridge. Panzer's looks have been rather slaughtered, as long as I'm done this. Quickly getting out of that, but they did take some losses. Dushka remains in the small hut upside. Only 3 squads with conscripts though for Chipper. He's taking some rather serious losses. We should consider replenishing some of those.
Soldiers, fresh units on the field.
And there we go, quickly following up with some Guards infantry. And they actually gain a lot out of veterancy now compared to other units. I mean, they overall gain more survivability, have slightly more armor overall. Also, with veterancy, they overall gain a bit more penetration, which means they actually have an easier time dealing with German infantry. There we go. Half track is ready again, this time though with Panzer Grenadier inside. With Panzerschrecks. Though of course they also got the Sturmgewehrs. There we go, nice anti-tank grenade. So they end up taking still a few losses here from the Panzer Grenadiers, who don't have to worry about themselves taking too much damage. MG42 firing in, and there we go, squad wiped out. Heavy losses there for Chipper and the 20th Guards Rifle Division. Lots of Panzerschrecks flying through the air. Flak Panther tearing into things. He needs to be a bit careful, but anti-tank rifles probably not going to be so much of a problem. Also looks like the anti-tank gun has been wrecked. Fancy that. Osman, well, needs to get out of it before the SU-76 might do something terrible. And medical supplies here. Note they can also be picked up by the enemies. I mean, you have to be careful about them. In this case, though, that doesn't seem to have happened. Instead, the MD crew was the one to acquire some medical supplies.
The enemy has taken our supply sector.
We are awaiting order.
And popping over here, defensive, having small anti-tank personnel mines, cheap, but overall not that effective. Otherwise, I mean, they're not going to, for example, wipe a squad like the other one, but still can do some damage. You got the Dushka, you've got tank traps, which are basically large rods of steel, or bars of steel well thrown into the ground. You got 45mm anti-tank gun, you also got the heavy mortar. Basically, I mean, it's not going to be a late game doctrine, but overall it still has some usability, and so far it would seem like he's pretty much using all parts of it, except the mines. I don't think I've seen them at all. That and the tank traps. SU-6 once more fires a barrage here. Gonna need to be 4-6. Careful. Rifle grenade doing what I can. Light machine guns should be upgraded, I think, on them. Oh! The bridge was blown. The Grenadiers managed to cross to safety, but that's it. Another incendiary bombing run, forcing the conscripts away. The Luftwaffe is very active today here in support of the 5th Panzer Division. Clearly some important assault is going in, since so much Luftwaffe support is being made available.
T-34 ready for action.
H-35s are arriving for Chipper. Also, this doctrine rather describes, or well, is a nice reflection of the Soviet more defensive units they had, which were called machine gun battalions, which was basically what they had to hold ground. Large amounts of machine guns and anti-tank guns. They didn't do so much in terms of fortification by 1944-45, except what they basically sort of quickly dug out in terms of sandbag positions, you know, hastily improvised tank traps. So, little fun fact there. In this rather rising next again, machine guns, anti-tank in different kinds, mortars. That was really it. Flak Panther moving ahead, needs to be careful. H-85, H-76, Panther 4 damaged. Half track moving about here. Panther out for Moon Hoplite, die Panzerkampfwagen 5. There we go, looks like it might be able to prey on some. There we go, Veteran 2 for the Panthers, although nice hit there on the half track, takes it down to half health. And there you go, get the kill.
Waiting for your command.
More T-34s arriving here for Magikoddball.
Enemy forces are attempting to capture our territory.
Oh, never mind, there were actually mines up here. And again, they don't do a frightful lot, but still, you know, they can kill a bit and do some damage. And of course, then we got the Dushka, just tearing up the Fritzers left and right. More supplies, Panther falling the way. I think they need to basically launch a large assault and get this part of our H-85 is basically just going to blow away. And there we go, buttoning things up as well. Not really looking good there for Blitz. Oswin looks like going to be dealing with the Dushka. Panther moving into support here, having taken a nice northern route, although they could also consider launching a flank assault from here. That would be a nice idea, by the way. And he is pushing up the support. Large quantity of infantry support by a tank going to deal with the Oswin up here as he tries to deal with the Dushka. Continued supply drops. And that's going to be the end of that Oswin. There we go. So many supply drops going in, and I think we're also seeing some air reconnaissance and a smoke drop. Good lord! Oh, and they're going to cut down the retreat. Need to be a bit careful there. Moon Hoplite, do not, or for that matter, please don't underestimate the Dushka, and for that matter, Magikoddball. More incendiary barrages as well. My gosh! That has definitely got to be the biggest presence from the Luftwaffe I've seen yet in any match. I mean, he's definitely getting the most out of the Luftwaffe support doctrine, that's for sure. All he needs to do is basically call in the bombing strike, and that's it. Half tank coming back again. Another looks like another incendiary bombing run. Oh, no. Smoke actually to cover the retreat. Well played there, well played there. Good use of smoke, good use of smoke. Panther though needs to be careful there. S-35 rolling in. Panther 4 resuming repairs. Veterans for these conscripts. MG-42 firing away. The mortar dealing nasty damage. Panther seems a bit stuck on things. Not good at all. Very bad position there for Moon Hoplite. Half track rushing it. Tank traps going up, but the Panther has managed to mess it up. Courage might get cut down there going that they did. Half track though ready to blown up. Storm Panther, another Panther 4 finder. No, that's another Panther 4 by the way. But a Storm Panther 4 from Moon Hoplite. Things are going crazy with smoke, fire, destruction, doom and gloom. And another strike here from the Luftwaffe. Storm Panther needs to pull back even with his 150mm frontal armor. And there we go. Another smoke drop protecting the Panthers. Mortar rounds to strike down the Grenadiers. MG-42 doing what it can. Storm Panther needs to quickly change that go. Nice. Oh, didn't do much damage.
Units awaiting orders.
Whew. And time to pop back here to Blitz, who's barely got anything left. He's floating so many resources. All of a sudden, maybe he's a bit too preoccupied with calling in stuff, but you know, get to training some units, train some Grenadiers, make some stuff. Good lord. And a heavy howitzer now up for Chipper as well. Panther 4 down, but stop floating resources. And yes, by the way, I didn't receive a lot of replays, sadly, so there wasn't so much to choose from. And this was rather the best, so I mean, in case you're wondering if perhaps this is not the most pro stuff, but again, reasonably alright, but again, some mistakes in there, and again, you know, send in some replays, damn it. Always right after patches out, give me as many damn replays as you can get. But again, another supply drop, getting some infantry on the way, good. Another Panther, good. But again, more infantry. Immer mehr Infantry, and again, I'm surprised he hasn't gone for the munitions cache. Again, it really would make a ton of sense, considering again, he's gone for this doctrine, which again is very dependent on munitions. Also, I really haven't seen much from the air drop medical supplies after those initial few drops there, which is a bit of a shame. But fighting for the victory point. Dushka remains up here, ever vigilant. Initial tank trap so far not doing so well.
Panzer 4 is ready for
But there we go, trying to build up his fuel supplies for some more Panzers. Right now I think would be a good idea to try to build up munitions, prepare a reconnaissance overflight, follow up with a Stuka bombing strike, then knock out the howitzer. I think that would be a very, very good idea. Russian infantry pushing ahead pretty viciously here from Chipper. Storm Panther 4 could stand to support the infantry advance against all the Soviet infantry. Oh, there we go, veteran fleet, but oh, artillery strike wipes them out! Oh no, and immediately gains Veteran 1 itself. And of course, Storm Panther will finally get into action again. Then it is quickly snatched a Panther strike. Trying to finish up the tank traps here, but Panther 4 barges in. In order here, this Storm Panther 4 is taking quite a bit of damage. And the Grenadiers cross the no man's land, already heavily wounded and lacking men. They'll need to retreat soon. There we go. Heavy mortar inflicts more losses. Heavy machine gun sending up support. More munition supplies dropped in. A Panther up now from Moon Hoplite. And there we go. Magikoddball quick moving in. The T-34 to remove that Panther 4. MG42 trying with incendiary infusing rounds, which is a nice endeavour. Send us a bit of damage, ultimately won't be doing enough, I'm afraid. Not enough. And there again, Steck got cleared out. A desperate endeavour right there from Blitz. And there go Panther fall down. Got one T-34, but that was about it. Quick follow hit with a Storm Panther from Hoplite in the hopes of avenging its lost comrades. And popping over to him. I think he should consider investing in a command tank. But help against infantry, of course, buff his nearby armor in friendly territory, which I think he could definitely benefit from. Or he should try setting up his own howitzer and then counter-bombarding the Russian one. That would also be a good idea, I think. And infantry getting caught by the Storm Panther 4, though, having some serious trouble in actually hitting the bloody enemy. And another Panther out here for the 5th Panther Division. Also knowing he's actually got spotting scope for his Storm Panther. Oh, careful, careful. He might steal the munitions from you. There you go, T-34 rolling head straight in front of this Panther and the Storm Panther. That's definitely about it, but there you go, ramming.
We are losing the sector. We need orders.
Almost got it, Mr. Storm Panther. And there we go. Good night. Following up with the Panther strike, perhaps around here could catch a lot of infantry, and there we go. Oh, heavy losses right there for the Soviet infantry.
Enemy is gaining the full sector as we head off.
Well fired there from the Panzerwerfer. Nice bold move there for the cut-off point by Chipper in return. Panther 4 quickly trying to hunt it down.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Second howitzer up here for Chipper, by the way. Definitely sending up the largest Soviet artillery battery. And trying to get that Panther. They just managed to repair, so need to quickly get that out of there. Another set of smoke bombs. Looks like he loves those.
You have a rocket target?
Russian infantry suffering a bit, but overall, I mean, looking good, looking rather veteran. Blitz and Hoplite is still floating quite a bit of munitions. Again, he needs to look into that. Again, some machine guns would definitely help his grenadiers a lot. Just saying. He could definitely do a lot more, and again, the command tank might also prove rather beneficial. But at least they're finally getting some movement up here in the south. They really should have been pressuring the Russians there a lot more earlier. Another set of supply drops going in. And looks like he's doing it so his teammate can pick up some of the fuel. Getting another Panther again. Befehlspanzer looks like it's all going in. And he's actually going to be draining away forces here from the front again. That's what actually attacking a flank can do, which in theory should allow Mr. Hoplite to launch an assault from here and break through if they do things correctly. Howitzers spotted. I hope that was Salt in a Stuka bombing strike. I hope. And there we go, the Jericho trumpet sounds. Howitzer down. Anti-aircraft half-attack mortar down. Wunderbar. Germans have managed to break through. Though, of course, there's still tank destroyers about, so they need to be a bit careful. Don't get too cocky here, Hoplite. Trying to deal with the howitzer, which is alright, but again, don't forget the other targets. You can knock out your Panther first. Guards infantry might get killed here. That's the mine. Oh, there we go. Storm Panther mine knocked it out. Panther forced to fall back. So much going on all of a sudden. Panther number 2 still. Befehlspanzer. Befehlspanzer could help with the infantry and other stuff. And shocking it. Oh, he could try and get off a target weak point then. No. At least get off a smoke drop here to cover the retreat of your Storm Panzer, if you'd be so kind. At least get the other Panther in. And he does it, but a bit too late, and there we go. Yeah. Rather unfortunately there. A bit of a botched assault there from the Germans. Time for the mid-game analysis, but that was definitely not the best assault there. I mean, they had a great opportunity, but rather than Moon Hoplite failed to follow up on it again. He basically should just have gunned the command tank just to add some extra numbers. Going to have something that could easily deal with the infantry, and for example, also quickly roll in and deal with this. The howitzer, while the tanks then dealt, you know, with the more tanks, more specifically, better at dealing with armor, deals with the armor. And right there, of course, we're seeing a supply drop going down. We're also seeing the Russians counter-tanks, so they'll end up being able to steal a lot of fuel from the Russians. I mean, again, that actually can happen. Now there's an actual risk to using air supplies. So that's actually also something vital to remember. When you pop those up, your opponent might actually steal them, because, you know, he wants to. Remember, the communist, the socialist, is a thief. Anyways, let's not get into that. But, you know, just for fun, of course, let's not get into an actual serious discussion about it. But anyways, so far, I mean, the Germans just managed to botch a bit of a nice armoured assault. That, I feel, you know, is not so good. They still retain their Panthers, but again, they could have done a lot more damage. Ultimately, they didn't. They didn't. I mean, they got one howitzer, they got a half-track, and the mortar, and that's about it. They could have done a lot more, and in return, they lost the Storm Panthers. I don't know. And, of course, they're also losing the south as well, so that's not good either. I mean, a lot of problems then. For example, also medical supplies lying around for the Russians to steal. So the Germans definitely need to straighten out the front line. Blitz needs to get some units out. I mean, he's dropping too many supplies, in fact. Too many supplies. He's neglecting field presence, which leaves his teammate Moonhopper to do all the work. That's actually pretty bad in terms of strategy. Again, support is nice, but it also means you still be able to fight your own fights. If you can't that, you can't even support your teammate, because then he also has to fight your fights. In which case, you're actually being detrimental to the overall combat, so that's not good. And again, Blitz needs to get some troops, some armor out, otherwise he's just going to be an obstacle rather than a help. So that's definitely something to keep in mind there, but otherwise, you know, get a command tank out and begin spending some of those munitions. Moonhoppler, I'm deeply surprised you didn't use some of those munitions to mine up this area. That would have been great. Mines here, mines there, that could have made things so much easier and so much better for you. I'm deeply surprised. Deeply, and a bit sad. So that's definitely something again. That's mainly for the Germans, again, who are a bit on the back foot. For Chip, I mean, we're seeing things alright, though. He needs more infantry. He also perhaps could stand to get some more H-66s, or like a Katyusha and H-35. I mean, he's got tons of fuel, but he's not using any of it. So that might benefit him to look into that. And again, get some light machine guns up for some of his more of his guards' infantry. And for Magikoddball, I mean, he's got the infantry, he's got a bit more armor. So, I mean, overall, the Russians should try to focus on pushing down here again. The Germans currently very few in units, so they shouldn't be attacking the German strong point. They should try and attack them where they aren't, and that way try to spread them out, overextend them that way, opening up for one more deadly lethal push as they find all the valuable units, isolate, and then knock them out. That's going to do a lot more than instead of you just trying to bash your head in while the Germans' assets are all focused in one spot. In fact, that's going to make it easy for the Germans and actually give the Germans a chance to come back into the fight. So that's also something very valuable to remember. Let's return to things here. Tracking up on the S-35, wonderful. Trying here to grab as many fuel supplies as possible, but I mean, obviously not going as well as they imagine, and ends up handing over an MG-42 to the Soviets. Plus, of course, the Russians here all of a sudden getting healed up.
Taking losses. The guards here. Conscripts here.
Enemy infantry has our range.
Another Panzer IV here, a Panzerkampfwagen 4.
You need light anti-tank. Ready.
Also noting here a much larger now barrier of tank traps being laid up here. Also an MG42 which has not been seized at all.
Our new weapons are here.
Very surprisingly. One of these here just needs to retreat. Rückzug, Rückzug. More supply drops. Come on, Blitz. Get some troops out, Blitz. Actual troops. Good lord, that Panther barrels really did a number. 21 kills. Howard trying to knock out, and smoke going down again. Rather focused and cohesive, and basically, you know, solid use of smoke, constant. No doubt about that he needs to use smoke, so great use there actually. Quite impressive. Now again, otherwise use of munitions, less impressive. Quick Molotov down the Grenadiers, also noting actually also again with Russians, as they veterans up again, they also get increased range on the Molotovs. Grenadiers retreating. Another Sturmpanzer 4 out. Looks like Hoplite is very fond of the Sturmpanzer 4. They do seem to have a bit of trouble, you know, getting the most out of the Sturmpanzer 4, which on the other hand is a bit of a shame.
Fresh conscripts have arrived. Capture complete.
And Chipper is ready to quickly replenish his ranks with fresh conscripts.
We have a DP-28. Give us a target.
Not sure why popped smoke there. Aerial reconnaissance. Might be trying for the Stuka bombing strike. I mean, otherwise, why go for that? I mean, really, again, the priority should be knocking out that other house as well. Panther barrage and lopping down some incendiaries there. Come on, Blitz. Get your priorities straight. Of course, knowing here, veteran 385. Not as powerful as previously. I mean, mostly now it gets, you know, higher rate of fire and basically also can maneuver better as a great lets up. It's not going to be, you know, doing, you know, a lot more damage and being harder to damage as well. So, I mean, in that sense, a lot more reasonable, but still, you know, nasty.
Supply sector under attack.
And looks like he's basically bombarding the drop zone. That's also one way to go about it. Grenadiers there, clearly outnumbered. Might be an idea for Blitz to just get his men out of there. Just a small suggestion. Half track now for Magikoddball. Panther have also quickly react here to the southern assault here from Mr. Chipper. Bombing over to Magikoddball. Quick rough grenades there, almost wipes out the entire conscript squad. Lovely.
More of our troops have been lost.
More mortar strikes. Panther, direct assault here, Blitzkrieg up nice, but where are the other tanks? Hoplite, why are you sending in a single Panther on its own, mate? That's not really good for an assault. And that Panther is definitely going to go down. Rather big shame there, but again, Hoplite seems in a bit of trouble actually coordinating and conducting an armoured assault, which is a bit odd. Nice incendiary strike right there, and all the infantry right there, such a huge force, and they're just burning up. Followed up with a quick Panther barrage. Definitely bad news here for the Russians. No idea. It looks like they might be handling too much. Just know how many are just dying. Good lord. And Veteran 2 there for the Panther for 29 kills in the name of the Vaterland. And again, another bollocks armoured attack here from Hoplite. Clearly he's not a Strachwitz or von Sauken when it comes to the tanks. So you need to be careful. 4-6. Panther fausting and... Oh, the Jericho trumpet! The Jericho trumpet! What a glorious trumpet it is! And there we go, the Regiment 3 S-35 is finally down! Or at least he had to. That's definitely one way to go about it as well. Storm Panther 4 quickly needs to follow up. Another S-35 down here. Let's hope Moon Hoplite stays on the priorities first, which is dealing with other things, can deal with this armor before moving in to deal with the howitzer. Oh no, he's ignoring it. He's ignoring the S-35 set, trying to deal here with the howitzer. Nice hit there, but still hanging in trouble. More Panther for fire. Oh dear, Moon Hoplite, at least finish what you're doing. Another messed up assault. We've seen medical supplies happen all of a sudden being used here by him. Surprising turn of events. But the howitzer still stands. Oh, more supply drops. Pioneers being overwhelmed. Pioneers doing what they can support. Minor action up here, Panther escaping, but surprisingly enough, no technical exam dealing with this position at all. I mean, there's been no follow-up assaults. There's not even the Storm Panther not driven up, for example, and just cleared out the bastard. So, I mean, in that sense, the Germans have also been a bit myopic. In particular, Moon Hoplite has rather failed in many attempts to get the most out of his armor, I think, rather resulting in some less than handsome armored assaults. I mean, he's good at using, for example, you know, the smoke drops, but beyond that, things seem to get a bit sketchy. He's having great... Oh my god! 44 kills for the Panzerwerfer! And nice their use of the incendiary bombing run to quickly protect the victory point, forcing the Russians to actually burn up if they want the point. And they realise, you know, they don't want to burn up. Use the smoke there to cover the escape of the Panther. Wondrous, wondrous. Russians moving up the tanks. And still get the Panther because the smoke drop wasn't quite well coordinated. But still, the Russians are doing quite a well job in actually attacking from different angles, trying to push a more broader front, not just trying slightly narrow assaults, which can easily be bogged down. Well done there.
The enemy has killed another infantry squad.
Another Stuka bombing strike, I think, to protect this point. Still, for example, no attempt at clearing out the howitzer, much to my great surprise. A fresh Panther gun is scored here, countering serious Russian resistance. Another Panther arrives, another heavy Panzer coils up, this time from Blitz. Hoplite's Panther is experiencing rather serious Russian interest.
Enemy forces are capturing our supplies.
Attempt here to direct assault, but again encountering the Dushka, they got knocked off.
We killed an enemy squad.
Did any aircraft actually crash down? Sure.
Ready. We are losing territory.
The Panzerwerfer continues to fire away in its bloody reign of terror. Looks like a Panther here will have success with the T-34. Time to pop back to Blitz. And there we go, the T-34 goes down.
Pioneers ready for anything.
Russians advance. And again, very few units left at all for Blitz. He needs more troops, and now he's getting several Panzerwerfers. I think, you know, he needs to get something else other than Panzerwerfers at the moment. In this case, the Panzerwerfer does an absolutely vicious job there, absolutely shredding one squad of conscripts, leaving no survivors.
Taking rounds. What do you need?
No light machine gun by the way with these grenadiers, that's quite a surprise. I would have imagined that would be a priority.
Taking fire from either!
We have new units.
Grenadier squad is taking fire!
Panther fast and anti-tank round there versus this half-track. Panther heroically advances through the Soviet mass.
Opponents are seizing the
And
sector.
looks like some medical supply drops are being sent to support Blitz infantry down south. And of course Russian infantry moving unimpeded down south. Because again the Germans simply don't have enough resources to maintain that larger front as they're currently trying to.
Grenadiers reporting.
More actually fires around there for
Medical supplies
Chipper.
are ready to arrive by air.
Big Panther barrages in the south. Not sure why they insist on doing this. They seem to keep forgetting there's a fucking Dushka inside that building. Looks like they're finally trying to knock it out. And there we go, finally, after so long having an utter obstacle to the German army, the Panzerwerfer does the trick. But by Jove, it took some time for them to get around to doing that.
Ivan is shooting at us! Half-track awaiting orders. So much blood!
Grenadiers!
More Panzerwerfers.
Stiffen our resolve. We are down to
Quick smoke up here to cover the Panther from some unknown terror.
The enemy is attempting to steal our
Send
sector.
your barrage down south.
I see the enemy. Engaging.
And Panther trying to deal with the SU-5 here. The SU-5 on its own. The Panther might actually stand a chance. Lovely, lovely. There's nothing else to say about to help.
We have lost this
Anti-tank grenade's been dropped and the Panther's armor deflected it nicely. Huzzah! A victory punch quickly dropping out. Panther needs to turn the front to the SU-5 and get behind, past it. Come on, Moon Hoplite. 50 kills on the Panther there for 42. Absolutely smashing.
The new Grenadier squad is ready.
Panther went down. That could have been handled a bit better, I think, for Moon Hoplite. Then again, he was handling 2 Panthers versus 2 SU-5s, I suppose. Chances were slim. Continued supply drops.
Incendiary bombing run, Commander.
Again, I think he might be using it a bit too much,
We have a new
to put it
Panzer
simply. And now he's getting another Panzer IV. He could have gotten a Panther. Oh well.
Resupply by air is now available, Commander.
51 kills.
Machine gun turret has been installed.
And very close to veterans V, by the way. That probably had something to do with the fact that the troops we're shooting at were veteran. Which again also helps again with gaining more experience.
Our forces increase.
Minor counterattack going in here. Blitz's forces rather extended.
Points remaining.
Also, 3 Panzerwerfers, that's definitely quite the rocket battery here the Germans have assembled. More smoke. Also, great use of smoke.
Half-track awaiting orders. Dr. Boss standing by.
And overdrive. Well done there from Magikoddball. Actually using his veteranary ability to save his light vehicles. Good job. Victory points are beginning to look rather rotten.
Half-track awaiting orders.
5th Panther Division has definitely also suffered quite a thrashing.
Rebels are securing our territory.
And now the Russians, of course, stealing all the munitions away from the Germans. Again, oh dear, oh dear. Oh. Oh, goodness gracious, that's just a massacre. But in return, Sturmovik just shatters several Panzerwerfers. This battle is just a slaughter for both sides. Good lord, an absolute meat grinder.
We are down to 20
And a steel grinder as well, if that's a word. Anyway, the tanks are getting ground up as well.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Not sure why he's using incendiary bombing runs down the tank destroyers.
Eyes on infantry. Engaging.
But the S-35s are too close to each other. It actually allows the Panther to maneuver about them. But it is under fire from the 2T, but it forces need to keep the frontal armor presented to them if it wants a chance of surviving. And finally again, a Panzer IV flanking about, but again, rather feels late. Feels late, and they might have a chance now pulling things about, except they're running out of victory points. There we go, Panther did not survive. German forces are absolutely sundered. Might as well just move things out a bit here. No, taking time to look here for a long time. Oh well, no mind. And there we go. Game over. Absolutely brutal first fight here. Ambitious 2 versus 2. Insane losses in both. Again, not high level play, but I say moderate play. Some good ideas. There's some new fun things to do with the doctrine, of course. We saw some serious good use here of the smoke bombs from Moon Hoplite. I mean, overall, he made reasonably useful use, except, you know, he never used the command tank or the howitzer, and that definitely could have been improved. Definitely. He also failed to use a lot of his munitions again. Had they mined up this area, that definitely has helped up things. And again, that was one of the problems. The Germans were much too concerned of just trying to barge their way through a bit more roughly through the centre. They were not so concerned on trying to hit the flanks and trying to draw the soldiers away towards other territories. They only had a few times when they actually did something. And then, you know, Moon Hoplite barged in again, seemed to be more concerned with the howitzers rather than the tank destroyers, then failed to take advantage of the fact he just managed to come into open ground where he could easily outmaneuver them. So really some unfortunate ideas there. Good use of Sturm Panzer Force to a certain extent. At least he used them. Sometimes he didn't use them so well. Definitely a problem there. Blitz, on the other hand, he should have had more units in the field. Great that he used the supply drop so much, he could use the medical supply drops more, but again, he used it too much. He kept, you know, himself short on manpower. Way too short on the diff. He should have considered munitions cash up, well, at least 2. But again, you know, he should have more units in the field, and he should have been a bit more careful with the supply drops. He ended up draining himself of manpower rather than having troops enough for the field, again, leaving Moon Hoplite to do all the fighting, which again left him drained. So again, that's something very important to consider. For the Russians, overall well played. I mean, Chipper definitely made full use of his doctrine, I think, except hit the dirt. And Mr. Magikoddball definitely got also some things out here of the heavy douche-cast, the anti-tank guns, the mortars, used the mines, although he could use the mines a bit more, and even the tank traps saw some usage, so overall nicely done there. I suppose he could have done more. The Russians, on the other hand, were quite good on actually attacking the flanks, hitting the flanks from the Germans to draw away from there. Good job there, outmaneuvering the Germans, that way ultimately winning. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you got some new ideas for the new commanders. Feel free to send me in some replays. Again, I could really do with a bunch of them, so send in a ton if you'd be so kind. This is Imperial Dane saying hope you enjoyed this. If you did, why not subscribe, tell your friends. If you didn't, well, why not send me and provide some feedback. Also, feel free to share this with everyone you can. I'll also be sure to get some new videos up on the command describing them in a bit more detail up soon as well. So this is Imperial Dane saying cheers.